Shalom. Before I begin this video, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, and I'm also as well double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that continue to rule very well to this very day, as continually feeding to fly through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. And I'm also as well Shalom to the hopefully elect as well, as continually laboring this work and also do labor to show forth your diligence to make your calling, election sure, in faith, in true sincerity, and also in all charity. Now, the topic of this video is going to be entitled Promises Made, Promises Kept. All right, and which is, is something that I've been meditating on over the weekend, which, was going over the live stream in which we did on the highways and byways, and also as well the in transit that was also done yesterday, in which the spirit is heavy right now on concerning the covenant which was made to the nation of Israel, in which in today's time the majority of the people that you see today believe that that covenant which was given unto the nation of Israel is now been given to the rest of the world, which are the other nations, in which that's not the case, and that's far from what the scriptures actually say concerning the promise or concerning the covenant. Okay, because I touched up on it during the live stream, which was done Saturday. The in transit, in which if you go into any sort, or better yet, whenever you have any sort of contract or agreement, in which that's what the word covenant comes from, you only have two parties or two people or two entities that take part in that specific contract or agreement, and no other entity can come into that. Okay, and also as well, it's written as well that only these two parties are involved. Okay, which is the nation of Israel and the Most High, in which his true name in ancient Hebrew is Yahweh. Okay, and within that, you have the promises, or the promise that was contained within that that agreement, in which it is again is only given to us, especially in these times, because you have these other nations that are prospering today, and especially the nation who is in rulership today, which are the Edomites, or Edom, the nation of Edom, which today they're being called so-called white people. All right, that in which Esau, Edom, is the true biblical nationality of the so-called white man. Okay, and again, the nation of Edom cannot come into this. Any other nation that is outside of the nation of Israel cannot come into this. Okay, and it tells you in the precepts as well that a bastard and no other nation can come into this thing of ours. They can't come into this agreement. Okay, but I'm gonna go ahead to the precepts I have here. First, I'm gonna grab the book of Galatians, chapter 3. And I'm gonna get straight to the point. We'll get verse 16, because again, there are promises that were made to a particular people, and guess what? The one who made these promises, which is the Most High, Yahweh Bashim Shai, he is going to keep these promises which were told to us. Okay, he even tells you as well within the scriptures that the Most High does not change. Okay, and the reason why he doesn't change is because so that us, the nation of Israel, is not consumed, and it tells you that as well in the same precept. All right, which Lord's will, I'll get it here in a second, but first I'm gonna get Galatians chapter 3, verse 16. It says, "Now to Abraham and his seed were the promises made. He saith not into seeds," right? So it says Abraham and his seed, which is singular, okay, were the promises made, all right? And it was not said to seeds as of many, but as of one, all right? Because mind you, Abraham didn't just have Isaac, okay? Because you also had Ishmael, all right? And Ishmael was not given the promises which was given, okay? Because when Isaac was born, guess what Abraham did? Abraham sent Ishmael away with the bondwoman, all right, with the woman of the other nations, and sent them away when he had Isaac, okay? And therefore, when that happened, the Lord made Isaac, or the bloodline of Isaac, to be the chosen, okay? That was the bloodline that the Lord chose. He didn't choose Ishmael or any other bloodline outside of that, that because the bloodline was going to go through Abraham into Isaac, okay? And then afterwards, it will go to Jacob, okay? And again, no other nation could come into that. The promise that was made from the beginning still stands firm to this very day. And the Lord has not made any sort of changes or any modifications in that promise, okay? And again, this was made to the nation of Israel only, okay? Because when you go and read in the New Testament concerning the Gentiles, the Gentile is not, more than likely, most of the time, it's not talking about the natural Gentiles, which are the other nations, okay? Because when it speaks about the ones who were alienated and the ones who are the uncircumcision, the ones who that the Apostle Paul and the other apostles were referring to, these were Israelites, but they were taking on the customs of the heathen, in which in particular the ones who was in rulership during that time, which were the Greeks going into the Romans, okay? That's why you got certain books written as far as Galatians, Corinthians, Hebrews, of course. And then you have a book, Romans, Colossians. So all these books that were written with these different names or these different bywords, these letters were directed towards the ones who were calling themselves those different, those different identities, okay? So, just to hop back on topic, right? So like it says here, Galatians 3:16, it says, "Now to Abraham and his seed were the promises made. He said not into seeds as of many, but as of one," right? One seed line, one bloodline, okay? "And to thy seed, which is Hamashiach," okay? Because through the line of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob was going to come Israel, all right? And out of Israel through Judah, and then all the way down to the time when our Lord was in the flesh. And that's the reason why, or that's, one of the reasons why it was planned out that way, okay? Because you will always have a people that stands above the rest, no matter what. And no matter what the society tells you, or what doctrine is being pushed by this land, which is Babylon the Great in the scriptures, which is known as America. And these words, which we're reading from, are absolute. Okay, and it tells you that there will always be one people above the rest. All right, and that one people is who? The nation of Israel. Okay, so I'm going from there. I'm gonna grab the next precept. All right, it's the book of 2 Peter, chapter 1. And I believe I'm going to get straight to the point. All right, so it's the book of 2 Peter, chapter 1, verse 4. It says, whereby are given unto us exceeding great and precious promises, that by these ye might be partakers of the divine nature, having escaped the corruption that is in the world through lust. All right, in which in this particular precept, it says that we've been given exceeding great and precious promises, okay, so that we'd be able to be partakers of the divine nature, having escaped the corruption that's in the world, okay, and you see that playing out right now, because this precept right here is not only is it going to the times of when Peter and the other apostles were doing the work as themselves, that when the Lord sent them out as apostles, not only was it to the ones that were there during that time, but more importantly, this is directed towards this particular time, okay, in which in this particular time you have that play out, because all the events that took place during the time of when you had the apostles, you had Yahushua, you had certain things that took place during that time, or they're being repeated to this very day, because you had the followers of Yahushua, you had the ones who believed that also got into the ministry. And guess what? Those same individuals are back today, including the apostles. Okay? So that's why now this is being played out in this time. Okay, so it says here that it's like, I'm gonna read again. It says, whereby are given unto us exceeding great and precious promises, that by these he might be partakers of the divine nature, having escaped the corruption that is in the world through lust. All right. So right now you have men who have escaped the corruption which is in the world, which is through what? Lust. Because, like we always go into is that actually it's been a while since we touched up on this, or brought out this fact, is that most of the time when somebody is drawn back into the world, really it's through lust. It's through their lust. When certain things happen, it's through their lust. All right, that's the bottom line. Okay, and this place tugs on your lust. It plays on your lust. It plays on your fleshly desires. All right, and that's why we need to get out of here. All right, and we need to get out of here yesterday. Okay, so I'm gonna grab this last precept. This is Romans chapter 9, and I'm gonna start at verse 3. It says, for I could wish to myself for a curse from Yahushua, for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites, See, because even the Apostle Paul was an Israelite, specifically out of the tribe of Benjamin. Okay. Right. Verse 4 again says, "Who are Israelites?" To whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of the Most High and the promises. See that? So there it is again, the promises. All right, and all these things are pertaining unto us. Okay, all these are pertains unto us and is being given unto us. And no other entity can come into that. Okay, but it drives the point home that the promises that were given are still being kept. Okay, and that promise is not going to be broken. Okay, in which I quoted earlier. Let me see if I can get it. All right, so let's make it last piece. So this is Malachi chapter 3, verse 6. It says, "For I am the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Shai. I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed." All right, so that's the reason why. That's the reason why he doesn't change, so that we're not consumed. Okay, now he didn't include any other nation into that statement. Nope, the reason he said that because so that the sons of Jacob are not consumed, that we're not destroyed. So that's the reason why the promise that was made is still the same. It hasn't changed. Okay. Even going into the New Testament, it hasn't changed. The narrative and the story remains the same. Okay. But I'm gonna go ahead and off on that note. And Lord was edifying to the elect of the nation of Israel. Until next time, once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem El Shai, Ba'ashem Hakodash. Also as well, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. They continue to rule very well to this very day. That is our feet and fly through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem El Shai. And I'm also as well, Shalom to the whole elect as I continue to labor in this work. Also do labor. Show forth your diligence to make your calling and election sure, in faith, in truth and sincerity, and also in all charity. And with that, I'm going to say Shalom.